Well, I went shopping in downtown Montreal, and I have something really, really exciting to show you. Stick around. Hello, fellow vapors. Vaping newbie here, and just came back from the shopping trip from a shop called BMY Vapes, and it's in the heart of Montreal. Love the shop. Brian has loaded it down with so much funness. It's got mechanicals, it's got regulated, it's got drippers, tanks, rebuildables, clear misers, just an amazing array, accessories, just crazy, and a mammoth selection of vape juice. So really good job there. I haven't seen Brian in a while because, well, his wife just gave birth. So congratulations, Brian, and congratulations, of course, to I'm sorry, I don't know your name, Mrs. Brian. All the health and happiness for your newborn. But I stopped by the shop today and I picked up a couple of things. Let's take a look. As I mentioned, we're going to be talking about a couple of things. One is a juice from Sick Boy that I picked up there, and the other is my new toy. It's the TFV4, or the Taste, what did they call it? The Taste Furious V4. This has a lot in the box. I'm going to be unpacking it, but just take a second, take a look at at minimum, what's in the box. Okay, well, you saw what you get in there. You get the tank, of course. You get the quadruple coil head. Yes, quadruple. You get a triple coil head. You get an RBA section, and as well as some other goodies. And you know what? They include the RBA section. It's just really, really something. You open the box. You want to get rid of that. It's not salt, okay? We're going to take a more detailed look at the tank, and oh, what a tank it is. It's massive. And then inside the box, you have a little Ziploc with some cotton. You get two, not one, two tank bands, one in white, one in black, which I think is pretty cool of them. You get a screwdriver, and folks, please note, it doesn't have a blue handle. It has a black handle. You get a spare glass tank, because you're going to need that. You get, as I mentioned, you get two coil heads. So the one that's in the tank we'll look at in a moment, but let me just pull this one out here. And this is the quadruple coil head. Now, it's all run in parallel. So, see that? That's 4 coil heads rolled up one on top of the other. Look at the size of that coil head. It's just mammoth. And then you have this little doohickey here, and that's going to go on top. We're going to show you that in a minute. But it goes on top for the loading or juice filling, if you will. And as well, of course, you get an RBA section. So thank you very much, Smok, for finally figuring out that it shouldn't be a spare expense to buy one. We're going to be looking at each of these coil heads separately, and well, you saw the quadruple. We have the triple when we zone in more, if you will, on the actual tank. We'll take a look more at the coil head that's in it. There it is. It is massive, monolithic. It is a big tank. All stainless steel with a Pyrex glass tank, and we're going to be looking at different sections to get it more thoroughly in depth. But to take it apart, let's set that over there. You unscrew the base from the top, and the chimney disengages. You just pop out the glass, and now let's take a look. First, the drip tip. Take a look at that. It's a really unusual looking drip tip, but on the sides, it's got a cooling feature on either side. Now that can be turned off. If you want to keep it hot, you can turn that off, but it'll dissipate some of the heat that you get because this is going to be vaped at a very high wattage, so it's going to be very hot, your e-juice. And then, of course, there's the top of your chimney. The next section, which is the glass Pyrex section, glass, Perfect. And then you have the base, and you have that's in it already, the triple coil head. You can see, hopefully I can get that focused or bright enough. You'll see the 3 coil heads in there. And then looking around, you can see, as I was showing you before, the cotton. You can see right through there, and that's why you're really going to want to prime this. And then there's your base with your airflow on the bottom and a silver-plated 510 connector. The airflow, it's simply a gnarled ring that's on the bottom. So simply by turning that, you're going to be able to shut or open the airflow. So the assembly is quite easy. Put in your coil head. Thank God the glass does not screw in. It's just a pressure plate held when you screw everything back in. And now we'll take a closer look at that airflow. The control of it, it's just that ring on the bottom. And there you go. Just by turning that, you're going to be able to open or close the airflow. Again, 4 distinct airflow holes. You have, I can't see it being anything other than the cooling system in the top, and again that dual layered drip tip. It really is a mammoth piece. It's so big, and I think it's going to be really well put together. Now we're going to look at something really fascinating: how to fill it. It's a top fill tank, and by simply, let me see if I can find it for you. Right there. I don't know if you're going to be able to read it. See that arrow? It says open, so you just simply open that, and there's your fill right on the side, not down the center, right on the side. And if you remember that white thing I showed you as a cap, it just sort of covers everything up, and you'd fill through the side into the tank, not down the center. Okay, and then just simply push that in. There you go, locked and ready to go. So I'm going to get it all cleaned out and take it for a test bin and see how everything works out. Something I found unusual, I'm just waiting for it to dry out, and I looked on the coil heads, and both coil heads have the resistance marked on it and then a recommended wattage. So this is a triple coil head, and they recommend between 40 and 150 watts. It's a 0.2 ohm coil head. The quadruple is a 0.15 ohm coil head, and they recommend between 40 and 140 watts. So I thought that was kind of unusual in itself, or I misread the triple. I did look at with a jeweler's loop, but the eyes might be failing. But from what I've been hearing from my buds on Facebook, they're recommending 100 watts. So you got to keep in mind a couple things. A, will the device that you're using be able to handle the low resistances? And 2, is your device going to be powerful enough to get that sweet spot that you want? Now, what I would highly recommend is not take my word for it. You put, like you would, you put your juice in, and folks, I cannot stress this enough. Prime the coil head. Prime it. Just make sure that it's well saturated, because when you hit that button, you don't want to burn up your coil, right, or your cotton right away and waste a coil head. So having said that, you prime that up, get your juice in, and then you're going to find your sweet spot. But you know, a 0.15 or 0.2 ohm coil, you're going to want to start rather highish. So you don't want to start at 10 watts. You want to start at 40 and work your way up. You know, this whole sub-ohming tank is, you know, it's just, the market is so heavily influxed. But of all the different tanks that I've tried thus far, this one, the build of it, the build quality of it, it just seems so solid. So I'm really looking forward to trying it. So let me prime this up and get it ready, and we're going to take it for a test drive with a new juice. Before we go on the test drive, I just wanted to walk through. This is the quadruple coil head in there, and you can see there are 4 lines all the way around, and that is because they've paralleled or you know, they've stacked the coil heads, and you can see it's all full of cotton there. And now we'll just take a moment and look at the RBA head that's included. The juice that I'm going to be talking about in a minute is a company called Sick Boy, and this is called MBYC. And It's supposed to be like the praline ice cream, vanilla, very creamy vape. I tried it at BMY before I bought it. It was just really, really delightful. So now I am just priming the crap out of this coil head. See, I got a lot in there. I want to make sure that it is well primed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tank all together, reassemble it, and then fill her up for you. One of the things that I'm really pleased about with the Smok TFV4 is that they include the RBA deck. For those that like rebuilding, you can see on the side there's a airflow on either side of the tank, and when you take the top off, you'll see on the side the size. I don't know if you can see that. Look at the size of those juice channels. They're just big, very big juice channels. And again, thank you, Smok, for actually including it. So when you buy the kit, you get everything you're going to need. So those are the two other coil heads. You know what? I'm not going to build on this right away because the main reason for having this tank are the pre-made coil heads, and that's what I want to take through the paces. So now I've got it all filled up. Let's get it on the device and take it for a test spin. Okay, so we're going to fill it up. We have that unique type of opening system there, and then you have this eye dripper, if you will, type bottle. And we were discussing this the other day on Whacked Out, and sometimes these are more of a pain in the ass than anything, but a lot of the juice companies are using them nowadays. I'll try find them better. Here we go. So I'm just going to wipe that down because I did miss a couple of drops. So this is going to be not only a test for the actual tank, but a test of the Sick Boy juice in the tank. I have tried this tank before I purchased it, and I was extremely impressed. So with this juice, though, I haven't tried it. Let me just close this up before I spill any. And we're going to get this up onto a device, get it rolling, and then take it from there. Okay, so now I got a new shirt, Concordia University Dad. Yes, that's right. That's my pride. And this is vaping. I'm vaping newbie, but I have to give a shout out to my daughter for getting into the Concordia. Actually, she was accepted in every program that she applied at, both Concordia and McGill. So my pride level is like through the roof. And she took a tour today at the Concordia University, and which is why I was downtown, which is why I went to BMY Vape, which is why I spent money. So thanks. But I love being at BMY Vapes. When I'm down there, I always try to drop by, and this segues into my final thoughts on the tank. And we're going to talk about a juice, so please hang in there. This tank has negative ramifications to it. It really does, and I'll get to that. But overall, the thing I love what Smok has done, or Smok, is they call it a taste. What the hell do they call it? Taste Furious tank. It's all about the flavor. It's not made to be a cloud chucking tank. It's made just purely for flavor, and I'm getting this in spades. Now, the downside to this is the drip tip. I've shut off that sort of heat dispensation holes that are on each side of the drip tip, because I find, and I don't know if it's just me, I tried different drip tips on it, and I found that without those holes, I was getting a bit better flavor. I don't feel like I'm sucking in air, if you will, but you feel a bit more heat on the drip tip than if I had it open. But I don't take that long a drag, so it doesn't really bother me. But you want to keep that in mind. The only other downside to the tank that I find is it's just so big. And having said that, sort of segues into, I guess, a second downside is that you cannot change the coil head without losing the juice. You have to take this tank apart. From what I can see, if you have a different, better way, please chime in if you have the tank. But the only way that I can come to get the coil head out is to take the tank apart Ergo, the juice is lost, which is kind of a downside. I wish they would have thought that. I love the fill feature, the way that works, the top fill. It is easy with that rubber piece that's in there. I was able to put that eyedropper thing right in, so I didn't waste any juice trying to do that, and it didn't take as long as I thought it was going to do. But overall, this is a really good tank. And again, I cannot say this enough. It's not built for plumes of clouds. I did try this on several different wattages. It's still the triple coil head that's in here, and it's registering at 0.2, which is what I say it is. I tried it at 40, and I did 10 watt increments, and I'm up to 88 right now. So I'm going to kick this to, I'm at 100, 100 watts even. Bam, right on. 100 watts is, to me, the best flavor I was able to get. My buds on Facebook were saying, oh man, try this at 100 watts. But I'm just that way. I'm a dickhead sometimes. So I started, at the lowest with the recommendation of 40, and I just went all the way up to 100, and 100 hits the sweet spot. Now, that then causes two other problems. You're going to burn through batteries really quickly using 100 watts all the time, and juice. So you want to keep that in mind. But it's so well worth it. It's just the taste I'm getting off this is just really phenomenal, and I haven't used that word yet, I don't think. So really, really glad that I dropped by BMY. Brian, sorry, I wish I could have seen you while I was there, but and I don't know, the gentleman that was there had me try it before I bought it, and it impressed me. He had it on that new Cube 2, I believe it's called, and that impressed me as well. But I can't buy everything. I just can't. So I went with the tank, and wow. If you're looking for flavor, if the whole sub-ohm thing tweaks your gears, this tank is really an amazing tank. You're going to want to try this, and that's the Smok TFV4. Take a look. The Facebook page for BMY Vapes is down below. They can hook you up. Get in touch with them. I'm sure they can work something out to get you this tank. Really, really something good. Now, let's segue into the juice. That was a new juice to me. My good buddy Ken talked about this juice. First time I heard it, and it's called Sick Boy MBYC. It's got the basic glass bottle, as I showed you before, the eye dripper on it. This is 3 milligrams of nicotine, and it is a 35 PG 65 VG juice. And before I even say anything, taste is subjective. What you like, I might like, and what I like, you might not. So I always keep that in mind, folks. But this juice is just rocking this tank. It's a really nice combination. It has a lot of vanilla. I've never had praline ice cream, so I don't know what that's supposed to taste like. I just like the creaminess, if you will, of it. And you know what? There's been so much talk about creamy juices, but this really is quite a good juice. I'm not an all-day vape person. I don't believe in that, but this would definitely be one of the tops in my rotation. Fantastic juice by Sick Boy. Again, it's available at BMY Vapes in a variety of nicotine levels, but it is really a tasty, tasty juice. So I want to thank Ken for talking to me about this, and thank the gentleman at BMY Vapes for saying, yeah, you got to try this. So it was sort of like a reminder to me, try it out, and I'm glad I did. That's Sick Boy's MBYC. I know the MBYC stands for something, and I'm not going to say it on a video. So that's it. It's been a longish video, and I apologize for that because I try to keep them short. But I'll be back with my final thoughts. Yep, BMY or Be My Vape. Now, I did another costume change because I always end in uniform, right? But BMY or Be My Vape, would love for somebody to tell me, is it BMY or Be My Vape? I like calling it Be My Vape because I just like the way it sounds. Fantastic shop. If you're in Montreal, I'll put their Facebook page down below because maybe they could do something over the line. I don't think they have an internet site as yet. But you want to contact them because Brian and that gang, the stuff that they have in that shop is just really, really fantastic. And I don't generally use a vape band, but I think it looks kind of sharp, so yeah, it's staying. The Smok TFV4, fantastic tank. Is there a downside? Definitely. There's sort of like downside 1 and 1A. I think the first downside to it is it holds 5 milliliters of juice. It doesn't mean you have to fill 5 milliliters of juice, obviously. But the fact that somebody might load it up and say, okay, well, what's my juice for today? Fantastic. But if you like trying different flavors throughout the day, it means you can't fill it up because you cannot save the juice. There's no way to do that. You're changing coil heads, you're losing the juice. That's where I was going with that. That sounded kind of confusing, and I apologize. But overall, it's a fantastic tank. I'm really glad that I bought it. In this day and age, and with sorry about that. With this day and age, with all the temperature control, and I'm using an eBig BT, available also at BMY Vape, and I'm using a Delta 2 on it. Again, available at BMY Vape. I'm enjoying that flavor. To get out of that and go into a tank it's a big deal for me because it takes a lot for me to make that change. But this tank is definitely worth buying. And I know it retails for about $62 at BMY Vape or Be My Vape. But to me, well worth it because it's such a complete package. 2 coil heads, the spare glass tank, and I said before you're going to need it. Chances are, hopefully you won't. But if you break that glass, the spare's there. You're not posting on Facebook like so many people. Where do I get a replacement glass? It's there. The rebuildable section, now I probably won't use it because that's not what I bought it for, but hey, you never can tell. It's there. It's included. You don't have to buy it on the side or hope that they have it in stock. It's you buy the box, everything's there. So overall, a massive thumbs up. I think Smok, you really did something good here. We should tweak it to figure out a way that you keep that juice. And folks, I want to remind you, when you're filling it, make sure you don't get anything down that center pipe. Use that side. And if that airflow that comes in or it's, to me, it's more a heat dispensation on the drip tip, just shut it off. It's no fuss, no muss. It's easy peasy. Again, I really didn't get into this section, but let's just take a look. For the airflow control that's on the base, you simply have this gnarled area, this middle section right there, and you just turn that, and that'll open or close your airflow. So it's very easy to get to, and most likely you can get to it while it's on a device. However, that'd probably be more of a pain in the ass than what it's worth. Is it big? Yes. That's on my Sigel. You can see it just slightly over the edge. So for people with that OCD, that's going to bother them because it is so big in comparison to it. And you know what? Let's take a measurement of that. You still with me? It's a long one. I'm sorry, but I wanted to show you this. I took out my leverage gauge. So the base of the tank is showing at 24.5 millimeters. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. And my Sigeli is 23 millimeters. So it is slightly bigger than the Sigeli 150. Now, if you have a 22 millimeter tank, it's going to be considerably bigger. So you want to keep that in mind because I know some people that just can't stand that. So you want to make sure that that's not going to bother you because there will be an overhang. Other than that, fantastic tank. Really glad I purchased it. I've been looking at it for about 2 weeks since my last stop in at Be My Vape. And finally decided, yeah, I've got to pull a trigger. Got to try this puppy out. I'm certainly glad I did. And you know what? It's funny. I've been in that shop 5 or 6 times when I'm down in that area of Montreal. And folks, if you're coming to Montreal, check them out. They're well worth trying. And you know what? Also, their Facebook page, you might want to hook up with them that way if you're on Facebook to try some of their products. It's really, really good. They're always posting, folks, new juices that they get, new hardware that they get. So you might want to follow them there because I sure as hell do. The Sick Boy juice, the MBYC, I'm not saying what it stands for. If you want to put it down below, you go right ahead. I'm not going to say it on the video. And if somebody doesn't, it'll drive you nuts. Like, what does it stand for? But overall, it's a great marriage of 2 different products that I bought at the same time. And put one inside the other and came out really, really well. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm glad you came by, and I want to thank Brian and the gang at BMY Vapes for being so helpful. Again, I can't say enough about the shop. Really friendly, completely bilingual, and juices like you wouldn't believe to try. So if you're in Montreal, take a look. If you're on Facebook, hook up with them and see what you can see there. Again, thank you all for joining me. I know I like having you over. Stay healthy and happy vaping. Take care, folks.